Hello, my name's Barbara and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to make an entree for you that is something that I sometimes crave. I don't remember to make it very often, but then when I do I have a real taste for it and I can't quite get enough of it. We're going to make a beef stroganoff. And I know it's spring, getting into summer, we're not thinking about hearty casseroles. But I think you'll find today that the way we do it, it's a little lightened up and it's not quite the chunky, heavy dish that you might be imagining. It's going to be light and full of flavor and really simple to make. Let's look at our few ingredients. We're going to start the 1.5 pounds of beef. And usually the recipe calls for steak that's thinly sliced. I've just purchased some stewing beef that's been cut into squares. If you find that the squares are too big for your liking, you can just cut them with your kitchen shears. We have 2 cups of mushrooms sliced. Today I've just used white mushrooms because they looked really good in the grocery store. But I do sometimes use cremini mushrooms as well. And we have 2 cups of onion. I have a combination of red onion and Vidalia onion, but you could use any kind of onion that you prefer. I have some fresh tarragon from our garden. I'm very excited, all these fresh herbs popping up. So some fresh tarragon is going to be the little light spring bit in there. Some beef broth, and of course we have the star of the show, Philadelphia cream cheese. You're going to find this dish goes together very simply, and switching out the traditional sour cream for the cream cheese has a couple of benefits, which we'll talk about as we get going. So let's start cooking. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our stewing beef and just dredge it in our seasoned flour. What I'm using today is actually a combination of buckwheat flour and millet flour. I like the nuttiness of the buckwheat, and the millet just keeps it really like a light and fluffy flour. So what we're going to do is just take our beef. Oh, I should tell you, I've seasoned the flour with salt and pepper, and my special secret ingredient, a pinch of cloves. Shh, don't tell anybody. So we're going to take our beef and we're just going to dredge it in the flour mixture. And then we're going to stick it into our hot pan. I just have a little bit of olive oil on the bottom here. And this is just going to start browning the beef on all sides. You don't want to cook it all the way through at this point, you just want it to brown and sort of sear on the outside of the meat. These are small pieces of meat, so they won't take long to cook, which aids in the preparation time. But we do want to just get them a little brown on the outside. We love those brown, flavorful bits that get onto the bottom of our pan that's going to flavor our sauce. And the flour isn't so much there to thicken today because the cream cheese does a good job of that. But it will just, as I said, have a little nutty flavor and give a good brown color to the gravy of our stroganoff. And you're just going to want to turn them as they start to brown. Depending on how hot your pan is and how quick your stove is to heat up, this should only take a few minutes. Let's see. They're just getting lightly browned. Take your time. Carefully don't get splashed, but you do want to get them nice and caramelized on each side. The flavors that come out are spectacular. And again, the gravy that you're going to get, the color of the sauce is going to be just a light golden brown. You don't want it to be like a heavy gravy, but you also don't want it too thin and white. So our beef is not cooked all the way through yet, but you can see it's starting to get some beautiful color, or at least I hope you can see. If not, you'll have to just trust me. So we're going to remove the beef from the pan and just let it set aside. And we've been talking a lot on the Real Woman of Philadelphia website lately about deglazing the pan and using all these beautiful little bits that are on the bottom of our pan. And this is going to be another opportunity for you to see that done. You don't want to lose any of that flavor. The sweetness from the beef as it caramelizes on the bottom, you want to keep all of that. And the little hint of cloves that was in our seasoning, we want to keep that as well. So we're going to let our meat set aside. And now we're just going to throw in our onions and our mushrooms. And as they start to saute and cook through, they're going to pick up all that delicious flavor. So we'll add that. I'm just going to turn the heat down in your pan too. You don't want it quite as high as when you were searing the beef. So we're going to put our vegetables in there and just start to give them a little toss. We haven't deglazed the pan yet. That's going to come with the beef broth in just a few minutes. Also, with the cream cheese and the tarragon that we're using, it's such a light flavor that we don't need to add a whole lot of extra seasonings. You're going to find that it's just, it's not a thin sauce at all, and it's not weak on flavor. It's just very simple and clean. It's a very elegant kind of dish. So we're going to get these cooking up. They'll pick up the beautiful brown color. They'll start to soften and sweat a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and add our beef stock. Our vegetables have been sauteing for a few minutes now. And they're just starting to soften. The onions are going a little translucent. And they're starting to pick up the beautiful color and flavor from the bottom of our pan. Now we're going to turn the heat up a little. And we're going to add our beef stock. And we're going to return our meat to the pan, along with any juices that have accumulated on the plate. You're just going to want to work up those little brown bits into the broth as you go, just to release all those good flavors. That seasoned flour, the caramelized bits from the meat. So we'll add that back in, just like so. Now this can simmer so that the meat can finish cooking and the vegetables can finish cooking. It won't take that long because the meat is a nice small size. And here's one of the benefits of using the cream cheese instead of the sour cream in this recipe. In the traditional recipe, you have to cook your sauce and just the last 5 minutes add the sour cream, and then be oh so careful that it doesn't boil so the sour cream doesn't curdle. We don't have that problem with the Philadelphia cream cheese. I could add it now and just let it simmer away, and it could bubble, it could come to a boil again, and it wouldn't matter. The cream cheese just incorporates beautifully. You don't have any of those concerns. I am going to let it wait a few minutes before I put it in, but it will simmer a nice long time to give a good thickness to the sauce. Another benefit to using the cream cheese instead of the sour cream is tomorrow, if you have any leftovers tonight, it'll heat up so much nicer with the cream cheese as opposed to the sour cream, which can sometimes tend to separate as you try to reheat it. So we're going to bring this to a boil just to get it up to a nice high simmer. And then we'll add our cream cheese in, and at the last minute we'll add our tarragon. Our sauce has been simmering for about 5 minutes now, and the broth is reducing nicely to concentrate those flavors. Our meat is fully cooked and is now just tenderizing. The mushrooms and onions are almost perfectly cooked here, so we're just going to add in a whole brick of Philadelphia cream cheese to the sauce. And it will, I've just roughly chopped it so that it melts in quickly and incorporates easily. But as we know, it always melts in beautifully, so we'll be back in a few minutes to check on the progress. The cream cheese is almost completely incorporated into our stock now, and this is the beauty of this recipe. It's only been cooking for about 20 minutes, and you could serve it right now. But if you need to wait a little longer, you can let it simmer and the sauce will continue to thicken and just get those flavors to meld even more. So it's a little bit of flexibility there for you with your menu. If you have it on in advance and then let it simmer until your guests come, you don't have to be rushing around at the last minute. The last thing we are going to add is our finely chopped tarragon. I have about maybe 1/8 of a cup of fresh tarragon. Ah, look at the beautiful color. It looks so beautiful in there. And this is what I mean. It just lightens up the dish, both in color and flavor. Tarragon is a great herb. I think it's very underused. It's great with chicken, but oh, it smells so good. You're going to love it in the beef stroganoff. So we're just going to let this simmer while we cook our noodles, and then we'll plate it up and show you how good it looks. Our noodles are cooked. Our sauce is fantastic. I don't know how it works, but there's this texture to it that is so creamy and light that it tastes like it's been simmering for days. Just thick and concentrated flavor. What I've used for serving is just some thin egg noodles. Usually you might serve it on a thick egg noodle, but I like the contrast, the juxtaposition of the thin noodles with these lovely chunks of meat and slices of mushrooms, and the sauce just envelops every single little noodle. You can see that it's not a heavy sauce. It doesn't cling to the noodles like a chunky sauce. It's just a light, gorgeous, drizzling to the bottom of the plate, covering every little noodle. Love it! I can't imagine that if you taste this, you won't just fall in love with it. We're just going to finish it with a little cracked pepper. We have a sprig of tarragon on the plate, just to give a hint as to what's flavoring the sauce on the inside. I hope you love it. I hope you enjoy this gorgeous day, and happy cooking.